Ooh, do, 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 do. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another amazing episode of the Friday Night Hangout. Yay, I'm super excited. This is our last hangout in June. Hello, Chidima. How are you doing? Thank God it's Friday. Thank you for joining in. And so this is our last hangout in June. So I'm excited, right? Yay. It's been amazing the month of June. My best month actually. It's been so much fun this month of June. And this week has been busy, 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 but we had 2 days of public holidays. I hope you got to spend time to smell the roses. And today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Good evening, Ezine. Good evening, Njideka. Welcome, Perpetual. Hello, Shan George. Nice to have you all here. I'm really super excited that we're here tonight to wrap up the month of June in an amazing way. And this is also the last episode in our season 10. Hey, so I'm excited. And tonight we have an amazing conversation to wrap up the month of this month. And, we'll be talking about health and wellness. So we've done that in the past. Hi, Jideka, your life. Yes, your life. You didn't come in late today. We've been talking about health and wellness, and this is not the first time we're dealing with health and wellness on this show. And so for this month, I decided to take a different approach. So, we instead of looking at some diseases or looking at some other things, I decided to look at some aspects of our life, especially as women that we don't, pay so much attention to. We looked at our emotional health, we looked at importance of strategic relationship to our overall, health and wellness. And tonight, we're going to be talking about cultivating resilience and inner strength. This is a must. You see, these two attributes are must for anyone, especially entrepreneurs. And so, even if you're a personal brand, you would need to cultivate your resilience. You will need to build your inner strength if you want to thrive. So it's non-negotiable at all if you want to thrive, right? And so that's amazing. I just want us to begin to think about it. You know, Oftentimes we don't put it in context. When we talk about health, when we talk about our wellness, it needs to be a holistic approach. We've said that from the onset of the conversation, from the first week of June. And so I thought it's important that we now wrap this up in a reflective manner, looking at resilience and looking at inner strength because we are moving on to our next best season, right? The month of June marks the end of the first half of 2023. Is it not amazing? It seemed like yesterday when we came into 2023, and all of a sudden we're wrapping up June and we're moving into July. July, which is the first month in the second half of 2023. What do we need to be doing at this point in time? What I want us to do is to get ourselves ready to eat the harvest from the second half of 2023. Now, it doesn't matter what has happened in the first 6 months. There's always room for improvement, and that's why I like to talk about reflections. Look at what you've done. January, February, March, April, May, June. Are there some areas you need to improve? Are there some areas you need to, work on? Are there some areas you need to let go for the best version of you to come forward? And these are some of the conversations we'll be having tonight. I see you, Mr. Shola. Thank you for joining in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so I just want you to begin to think. If you do not know where you're coming from, it's difficult to know your destination. So I don't want us to just jump into the second half of the year doing the same thing we've been doing. If you keep doing the same thing, you should expect to get the same results. And so we want to cause a disruption in the way we've been doing things that have not been working so that in this second half of the year, we can soar, and just achieve all our dreams, bring our dreams to manifestation. And we have the next 6 months to do just that. I always like to start early. like I said earlier, January now and June, July, before you know it, it's Christmas. We'll start hearing the Christmas songs everywhere, and you'll be wondering, where did all the time go to? Time and tide waits for no man. And remember that time is a non renewable currency. So you need to plan how to spend this extraordinary gift of time that you cannot get back. So by the time June, goes away and we unfold and just get ourselves into the month of July, we can't go back to June again. No matter what kind of past you have, no matter how much you wish, how much you regret, you can't go into the month of June. So I want us to go full into the month of July prepared for our next season. Prepared. Success is never a coincidence. Success is all about preparation, and getting the work done. And for you to get prepared, you need to reflect, you need to examine, you need to take consistent action. And all of these things come from somewhere. Hey, Madam Nike, nice to see you. It's been a while. So good to see you here. Welcome. EHU, welcome, welcome. The conversation is still on. And I'm really so excited about talking on inner strength, because this is one area that we do not pay attention to. When you find yourself not being able to take informed decision, not being able to take consistent action, you find yourself looking to people for validation, then you really need to work on your inner self. Show me a successful person and I will show you one who has inner strength. And so I want us to look at inner strength. Even when we talk about inner strength, there are different aspects of inner strength. What do we really mean by inner strength? Now, inner strength is that deep, unstoppable belief in yourself. It's a deep, unstoppable belief in yourself. You know who you are. You are so sure of what you can do, and you know that you have all that it takes. You do not look to people for validation. And it's in that inner strength that you find things like mindfulness, generosity, empathy. You find things like resilience. You find things. So when you talk about inner strength, we can unpack it. And I decided to unpack it into some certain levels. I talked about positive emotions. So one aspect of inner strength is your ability to have positive emotions. Some of us are all messed up emotionally. We don't know how to manage ourselves. We don't know how to manage our emotions. If you feel like going into a rage, you go into a rage. And when you're in that state, you can't make decisions. You make decisions based on sentiments, on feelings, and not on facts and something substantive. Some of us don't. I was watching a movie yesterday with my sister, and I said, so there was an incident in the movie where this woman was informed of the daughter called her, she was kidnapped. And the daughter was telling her mom. And so she was so panicky that she lost the moment to ask her, where are you? Look, all those kind of information that could help her pick. And I understand how it is. You're stressed, you're anxious. But then when such situations present itself to you, what do you do? It takes a lot of inner strength to know that you're going through stuff. A lot of things have happened behind the scene, and then you can sit down in a very compact, compassionate, compelling manner and speak articulately, and people will not know this one is dealing with a lot, right? And then when you hear this, you say, wow, I didn't know she was going through all of this. And see the way she was smiling and going on through all that. That is part of what we talk about by inner strength. You don't get all messed up, and then you become so vulnerable that everyone can twist you around and turn you around, and you now make emotional decisions. So there are different aspects today to inner strength. We talk about adaptive emotional skills, like I just discussed. We have the positive emotions. We have the optimistic outlook of life. We have the engaged manner, your ability to be responsible, to be discerning. So these are all, some of the things we are referring to when we talk about inner strength. And really, when we talk about being an entrepreneur, being a business person or a vendor, when they say, what do you need? You talk about finances, leadership skills, resilience. These are all good. But you see, you need inner strength to succeed in any environment. You need inner strength to succeed in any environment. It is that inner strength that makes you to keep coming back. It's that inner strength that makes you say positive things to yourself. It's that inner strength that makes you, you're very aware and intentional how you show up and how you engage with people, how warm you are with people, because you need to have people skill and you need to have the ability of managing whatever it is. You don't go off when you decide to go off because you're angry, because things do not work your way, and then you just start, ranting, raking, and throwing tantrums. You need to be able to manage all of this. It takes a lot of inner strength to do this. And I ask you tonight, how well do you know yourself? How well do you know what you're capable of doing? Do you know your values? Do you know some of the skills that you have as an individual? Can you say that you have a positive outlook of life? That even when you can't see things going well, you don't just sink in and start confessing negative things with your mouth. For some of us, when we pray and we expect certain things, it doesn't happen, you go off. You just think, oh, everyone has abandoned me. God has abandoned me. I'm a failure. And these words, when you keep repeating them, you might think it's a joke or it's just rhetorics or it's just to motivate you. No, but this is reality. This is reality. When you keep saying certain words to yourself, you start believing it and you start acting it out. So we want to be sure that we have these skills that can enable us to succeed and to thrive in the second half of the year. We don't want to joke with these skills at all. And I want to tell you something about inner strength. You're not born with inner strength. It's not an innate skill. These are skills that we develop. These are skills that you can develop. If you talk about one personality, you talk about positive outlook, you talk about positive emotions, all of these things are things you can build yourself to develop. And now we now look at it. What are some of the ways that we can build these skills? How can you build the ability to be responsible? How can you build all this ability? How so all of these are encompassed in your inner skills? You want to remain relevant. You really want to show up and show up in the fullness of yourself so that you can impact your world. I keep telling us that life is not just about you and your needs, your wants. It's all about money. There are things that are greater, more substantive than that. And so the first step I would encourage us to do, moving as we get ready, remember we're talking about preparations, getting ready for our next big season, the second half of 2023. We are winning this together. We are going to walk out there and walk out strong and really stay focused, right? So the first thing I encourage us to do is, one, understand that your choices define your life. Your choices define your life. This is not a time to be making careless choices. It's always important to have an overall understanding of what is before you make a decision. I also want us to know that your circumstances do not define you. You have a choice. Out of all the creations, God gave only man the ability to choose consciously. We have that ability to choose to make informed decisions. Let us not joke with it. So your circumstances, good evening. Oh, nice to have you, Roma. Nice to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Isioma, welcome on board. Nice to have you on the Friday night hangout. Now, your choices define your life. When I see people make far-reaching decisions like this without even giving consideration to so many things, I'm worried. Because the choices you make define your life. It defines the quality of your life. It defines the opportunities that you have access to. It defines the kind of relationships that you get into. It defines a whole lot. And I want you to know you alone have that power to make those choices. You alone have that power. You can decide what meaning. So you choose the meaning you give to the experiences you have. So the life experiences you have, you engage or you react based on the meaning you give to them. Nobody else gives you that meaning. Yes, certain things shape what impacts on the meaning you give to things, but this is something that is a very conscious process. So you need to be aware that you have the power to change the meaning you give to your life experiences. And this is what determines whether you feel happiness, you feel anger when people speak to you certain things, or you get angry, you get happy, you're joyful. It is the meaning you give to those experiences that determines what it is. Someone could come and so this evening I was given a gift from a very dear vendor here who I patronize. One of my, I just love to patronize her. And then I got this gift from her today, which is my birthday gift. I haven't even told her thank you. I just got it before coming on live here. And I was excited. I was just dancing. So for some people, it depends on your value system. So if you don't appreciate the heart behind the giving, you have decided to give meaning to gift based on the value of the gift. Some people are like that. So if gifts do not run into hundreds and thousands and millions, you just say, you give that thank you, just like that. But I appreciate everything, whether it's a matches, a pencil, is a pen, because it's not about the value of the gift. It's about the heart that has taught me worthy to receive a gift. And that for me is the most important thing. And because I have decided that's the meaning I give to gifts, I can rejoice, I can break out in joy when I get gifts, right? So you need to determine what meaning you give to your life experiences, and that is what shapes your life. So know that your choices define your life. So before you jump into that relationship, before you jump into that business partnership, before you jump into anything, just do know that your life is going to be impacted by that. Your actions there are a whole lot of things that are going to shift by reason of that singular choice that you have made. So when you say it's my choice, it's my life, yes, but they also have a ripple effect, and you want to be mindful that you understand all of this, right? Now, the second thing for you to note that would help you to develop your inner strength, to become resilient, to be that best version of yourself, to be a thriving entrepreneur, is to raise your standard. Now, why am I talking about raising our standard? Most of us have gotten used to the bare minimum. Anything goes. So you're in a relationship, you're being treated shittily, you're not being appreciated, it's a toxic environment, and then you feel that you do not deserve better. You feel you do not deserve better. You feel you do not deserve the right to be happy. Now, you don't even have ambition as to what you want in the future. You every day is just like that. You wake up, you go around, you move, the sleep. The next day you wake up, you don't have any standard. And when you don't have standard, you have opened up your gate for all kinds of things to come inside, because you don't have a choice. You're not exercising that your choice. Remember that everyone has a choice, but it's how you exercise the choice that makes the difference. So you open up your gate and everything comes in. And because you just feel okay, you don't have, and once people know, I keep telling us that you teach people how to deal with you. You teach people how to appreciate you. Once people know that you don't have a standard, they will deal with you in that manner. They will just deal with you in that manner. Now, there are certain persons that no matter what it is, they deal with you in certain ways. But now, how you teach them to value is the actions that you take. So when you know that when you do this action, you don't get away with it, you have to nip it in the bud. By the time the person goes through that experience with you, they won't come back and behave anyhow with you, because they know what they will get. So raise your standard. You are a queen and more. You are a king and more. You are unique. You are not just anyone. You are a special person. So you deserve to raise your standard. And as you grow, as you engage, I'm not talking about the arrogant standard. I'm not talking about being too puffed up in yourself. No. I'm talking about understanding you, understanding the value you bring to the table, and understanding the power of your choices to an extent that you can raise your bar, the standard, and say, you know what, this would not work for me. This one would not work for me. And you know why those things will not work for you, right? So you need to be able to do that. Now, I also like to talk about under this raising your standard, about the law of attraction. What when you want something, When you want something, you believe it. Oh boy, oh my goodness. One of the incidents that happened. So when you want something and you need something, you would and you express it and you go out for it, what happens is that you start attracting. As you're growing into that level, you're attracting it. You start attracting the kind of so, and that's why I say raise your standard. By the time you raise your standard, you find out that you're doing things differently. There's this spirit of excellence and peak performance that you start having, and then you start attracting people in that circle. What happens? The law of attraction. What you want, what you express, you attract, right? And so sometimes you can do this by yourself. Sometimes you need to get a mentor that can hold your hands, hold you accountable, help you to set meaningful goals, meaningful standards, or you can even get a professional coach to support you. So sometimes you don't have to do this yourself. You can always seek external help to help you do this. And then I want to talk about discovering your purpose. If you haven't discovered your purpose, it is difficult for you to have a high level of confidence. It's difficult for you to show up, show out. It's difficult for your light to shine because you're not going to be intentional. Your purpose is beyond you. Your purpose is what makes you create an impact in the society. Your purpose is what makes you be the best version of yourself. It is what motivates you. It is what inspires you. It's what drives you. What drives us as individual is knowing our purpose. So if you know your purpose, you would know what to say no to and you know what to say yes to. So understand why you're in this world. It is beyond financial needs. It is beyond your wants. It's beyond that. It is a larger goal. It's a larger thing about you. So it's beyond you. It must be to create an impact. Some other people or group of persons need to feel that your light. Your purpose is beyond you. And that brings me to the next thing, that helps you to develop your inner strength, and that's focus. When you know your purpose, it helps you to focus. And what you focus on multiplies. What you focus on expands. So if you can keep your purpose, your focus on building your inner strength, on cultivating your resilience, because your resilience is what helps you bounce back. If you can keep your purpose, no one says we're not going to have failures. Failures are building blocks for success. So anytime you see any successful person, you've seen an individual who has had multiple failures. So when I see people being too careful, you don't want to make a mistake. How is that possible? Then that means you are shortchanging yourself. You're not giving yourself the opportunity to grow. With growth comes mistakes. With growth comes failure. You learn the lessons and they become your stepping stone for the best version of yourself. So don't be too afraid and too rigid that you can't give yourself the opportunity to make mistakes. So focus. When you make those mistakes, when you start building your blocks of success, which is what I call mistakes, failures, you now can learn the lessons and it keeps you laser focused. Those of you who were with me on the Broken but Remolded yesterday, was it yesterday? On Wednesday, I talked about one of the characteristics of an eagle that we need in this second half, and that's the ability to be laser focused. So if you're struggling with focus, this is that time to really look inside of you and say, what can I do to build my skills in remaining focused, that I don't get distracted? Some of us get too excited, easily excited. Someone comes to the business opportunity, the person tells you, oh, you bring 10 naira, you get 100 naira, you're excited. You do not sit down and check it through. Do the numbers, look at the pathway. In every business endeavor, while the key thing is to create transformation, add value, you also want to be able to see your numbers. So for any business to grow, you need to know your numbers. You need to see the clear pathway to achieving those numbers. Otherwise, your business cannot grow. So don't get too excited and you become distracted from what you're doing. And any sustainable growth is not achieved overnight. And that's what I want to. If there's nothing else you take away from tonight, take this away, that you need to do the work consistently. You're not putting the work today, tomorrow, you don't say, but you leave it. No, consistency. Consistency is a game changer. So if you're focused, it helps you to be consistent. If you're not focused, it's difficult for you to build consistency, which is one key, is a key attribute of growing sustainably. So you need to focus. Keep telling yourself. There are certain times people come to me with different exciting, juicy things. I'll say, this is really good, but at this time I have to say no to you because it's not in my area of priority right now. Maybe in the next 1 year, 3 months, it might be in my priority, but right now it's not there. And it takes focus for you to do that. Otherwise, everybody will come with different good things. They are good things, no doubt. So your ability to focus is not just on things that do not matter to you. It becomes even more important when you're faced with things that have meaning to you, things that you really need and want, but you know that is not your priority for that time. So you're not everywhere, doing everything and doing nothing. It takes deep understanding of what your purpose is. It takes, conviction of where you're going to for you to remain focused, right? Then the next one I want to talk about is that, we all have dreams. So with purpose comes focus and then dreams. Your dreams are your goals. Your dreams are your vision for the future. These are things, your aspirations that you want to birth, you want to bring into manifestation. And when you have all of these dreams, you have the vision of what you want to do and all of those, you need to be able to move from making it a dream to betting it into reality. And how do you do that? I should do this. Procrastination is a killer of anointing. We keep procrastinating every day. You have your to-do list. You just carry it over from today to tomorrow. Tomorrow you look at it again. You carry it over to the next day. It's still in your to-do list. You never get it done. So some of us are carrying over to-do list from January, and we're wrapping up the first half of the year. And I'm appealing to you tonight, do not carry it into the second half of the year. One of the ways for you not to do that is to work on yourself. Change your mindset over that list. Instead of I should, change it, I must do this. Now, when you say something is a must, it means that this is something you cannot live without doing. This is something that you must achieve. I must do this today. In fact, when I tell myself I must do something, I put it on my must, not my to-do. I move it from my to-do list to must-do list. And so anything that finds itself into my must-do list for the day, it means that I cannot go to bed without achieving that. And that's one thing I want you to take into the second half of the year. To-do list is beautiful. But can we also create a must-do list that these ones are my priority for today? Now, don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of things you want to achieve for the day. Listen, you have 24 hours in a day, but your most productive hour in a day is between 8 and 12 hours. So have time blocks for what you want to achieve in the second half. Every day have time blocks. If you just write the list must do to do, and you don't have time blocks for achieving these things, it becomes difficult to achieve them. So if you say you want to do, for instance, if I say I want to respond to 20 emails today, I don't just leave it at that. I will go further to say I want to respond to 20 emails between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. I must be done with this. I have a time block in my day for doing that. I want us to, start practicing this as we move into the second half of the year. Have time blocks for doing the things. Otherwise, and that will even tell you how realistic your schedule for the day is. So some of us have the habit of putting 31 things, 40 things you want to do in a day. Meanwhile, you forget that you have other identities as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, and sometimes you need to discharge these duties in the course of the day. Do you give time for these things, for you to do these things? So when you're creating your to-do and your must-do list, please do note that you have fixed time to get certain things done. Put everything into what you need to do. So you're not struggling, oh, I must do this one. There's no time. And instead of you to enjoy your day, you're panicky, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed. Let us be determined that as we go through the second half of the year, we want to enjoy what we do. So everything we have cut out, what everything we set out to do for that day, for the week, for the month, let us do it with joy. I was talking to my EA Sandra today and I said, you know what, Sandra? I don't want anyone to overwhelm me or pressure me. I want to enjoy everything that I do. And so if you know you have certain needs from me, please tell me ahead of time. Let me schedule. And that's one thing I want us to learn how to do. So as we're having the to do, to must do, prioritize, schedule, and know that you have a fixed amount of time in a day. Some people say, oh, I wish the day was 48 hours. Hello. We know that a day is 24 hours. And in that 24 hours, you have about 8 to 12 productive hours. So whatever you've assigned yourself to do for that day, please give it a time block. You would see if you can actually achieve it or not. Hello, CEO Ju, just coming in. Thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Yes. And so I now go into the last thing, strategy for you to build your inner strength. And that is, my dear, let go of the past. There are certain things in the past that are not serving you. You're carrying over anger, you're carrying betrayals, you're carrying hurt, you're carrying on a low esteem, a self-esteem, low self-confidence. You're carrying out a lot of things. These things have not served you over the years. They didn't even serve you this first half of 2023. So why do you want to carry this into the second half of the year? I want you, as you're sitting watching me, either the replay or the live, make a list of the things you need to let go of in the past that are not serving you. These are things that are not helping you to grow. They make you feel bitter. They make you feel angry. They make you feel not good enough. This is the time to let go of those things. Let go of those things in the past. It's in the past and it should stay in the past. Learn the lessons from them. Use those lessons to improve yourself. Use those lessons as your building block for your success. But do not dwell in the past. Let it be your footstool. Stand on it. Learn how to stand on it and elevate yourself. Do not dwell inside of it and go inside so much so that you can't even see a bright future. You are so unique. You are awesome. Just as our fingerprints differ, we are also different. And it was a very intentional process to create every human being with a different fingerprint. It shows how uniquely you are created. So why don't you stop comparing? And why don't you now focus on building your inner strength, cultivating resilience? Yes, I know you may have encountered a number of barriers, obstacles. You may have lost a number of money in different business deals, but you can still rise again. You have all it takes to be successful. This is not just a motivational speech. This is something I have passed through. I have seen a number of people go through it. I have coached my clients to go through it. And I see that the moment you start focusing on your inner strength, there's a treasure inside of you that you need to let out. And once you can start harnessing that inner treasure, you find yourself doing things you never thought possible. Who would have believed that there will be a day when I, Joe, will sit down here to be on the Friday night hangout, to talk to people, to share from my wealth of experience and knowledge? That's how life works. The way you keep on investing in yourself, when you keep on strengthening your inner, you strengthen the power you have within you. You unleash a powerful version of yourself that cannot be stopped. The powerful version of yourself is not dependent on what people think about you. It's not dependent on the actions of other people. It's not dependent on the circumstances you find yourself in. It's dependent on your inner strength. How much are you willing to invest in becoming the best version of you? How much are you willing to invest to release that treasure that has been buried inside of you? So as we go into the second half of 2023, I don't want us to do the usual things that have not served us. Can you create out time? Today is the 30th, and in a few hours we cross over into the 1st of July by His grace. Can you just focus? Take out some time tonight before you go to bed and map out your roadmap. Can you design your roadmap for the second half of 2023? What does this entail? It entails looking at yourself. What are the unique things about yourself that you can use to improve your business? You can use to improve where you are right now. You can use to impact on other people. What are the things that you're engaged in that are not serving you that you need to drop? What are some of the things that are your priority for the next 6 months? Listen, you cannot just jump into the second half of there without priorities. If you're not clear as to what you want to achieve, it is difficult for you to take meaningful actions or to set meaningful goals. You will, by the time you look up, it's already October. I tell you. So can you just set out things? Start from micro goals. Do not overwhelm yourself. What do you want to achieve for the month of July? One or two, three things, depending on your level of consistency. If you have not yet gotten to the level of being consistent, it doesn't make sense to start from 0 to 100. For instance, you just want to start out in exercise. You're saying exercise is what I want to invest myself in. You have not exercised in the last 1 or 2 years. And then you say, okay, I want to exercise 2 hours a day. My dear, you're setting yourself up for a fall. Can you, for all, start by saying, I want to exercise 3 times a week, at least for 25 to 30 minutes. By the time you achieve that, you can add another 5 or 10 minutes to it. And that's how I start. When I go off exercise, like now, I've been off exercise for a while. When I want to start off again, I start with the minimum, bare minimum. I start with 30 minutes. I do 30 minutes for a week or more, and then I add 10 minutes to it. What are you doing? You're building your strength, you're building your capacity to stay on course. So, whatever you want to do, layer on it. Learn the habit of layering. Layer it, layer your growth, layer your growth. Don't be in the speed lane. You crash. So layer your growth. If you've been making 100,000 naira a month and you say, okay, I think I have the capacity to even make 1 million naira. Good and fine, you do. Can you start off with 100,000? I want to move it to 120, 130. You know why? When you set up micro goals and you achieve them, it gives you a certain level of confidence to do the next thing. But when you set out lofty goals and you can't achieve it, it just make you feel like I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes to do this. So start off with micro goals and then layer. That is the strategy. Learn the strategy of layering. If you know me and you work with me, my team, I layer. I layer everything I do. I start from here and I layer. Have you seen the masons building? You know how they put one block, the cement, they put the other one. You don't see them carry 10 blocks at once, and it will fall, it will crash now. They will put one first, cement it, put the other one, they layer on it. Use that strategy to build. That's a building strategy. A layering strategy is a building strategy. So layer your growth and be patient. So as I wrap up, I hope you've gotten a lot. Tell me what has come through for you tonight. As I prepare to wrap up, remember we started off talking about the importance of cultivating resilience and building your inner strength. And I talked to us about the importance of building your inner strength and some types of the inner strength we need to build. And then we went on to discussing some of the strategies for enabling you to build your inner strength. And that's the conversation we're just wrapping up now. I gave you 6 strategies that can help you. In fact, 7 strategies or more that can help you build your inner strength for you to be successful in the coming season. I want you to be optimistic. I want you to be positive, and I want you to be prepared. If you're optimistic, you're everything, and you do not prepare, it is difficult for you to grow. Just focus on yourself. Focus on your growth. Listen, don't be in a hurry. Be patient with yourself. Just know that you have all that it takes to succeed. What you need is time, preparations, you need the skills, and you need the right environment and the right set of people in your life. So while you're at it, I want you to take out time, look around you. Who do you have in your corner that can hold your hand and hold you accountable? Success is not a sentimental thing. Success is a conscious decision, it's a very intentional process. And listen, it is not a destination. Success is not a destination. Success is a process. So, what is your success process for the second half of this year? Design your roadmap to success. How would you know? How would you feel when you've achieved that goal? What is success to you? You need to clearly articulate these things for you to know how to navigate the next 6 months of 2023. And while you're all of this, as a believer, I do not negate the place of prayers. Prayers do things. I have experienced it, I have seen it, and I can testify about it. Why don't you hand over that plan to God? Why don't you hand over the second half of 2023 to God? When Christ was living, he said, "And I'm sending to you a helper, a comforter, someone that will guide you." Why can't we draw on the help of the Holy Spirit that gives us the spirit of discernment, that gives us clarity, that gives us a sense of purpose so we know what we need to do at whatever season? And finally, I want you to understand the next season you're going into. Understand the next season you're going to. When you can do all of this, you will find yourself soaring like eagles. And that's what I want us to do. Soar like eagles. Thank you so much. I hope this has been useful to you. Uju says layer your growth. Roma says layer your growth. Chan just says, when I know my purpose, it will help me to focus, and whatever I focus on will be multiplied. Beautiful. Injaka says, when I layer my growth, I become more consistent. Amazing. Uju says success is a process. That's it. Success is not a destination, it's a process. Oh, Chiamaka says, being focused, laying my growth. I must in my to do I must in my to-do list. Okay, I must list and my to-do list. Okay. So much nuggets. You are blessed and filled with wisdom and knowledge, mommy. All I learned today, we put into practice from today. Beautiful. And that's all I want to see. I want to see us win together. I want to see us win together. And that's what leadership is all about. That's the difference between a boss and a leader. A leader is one who knows the road, who understands what needs to be done, and who gets people to follow that pathway. And we are all leaders in our spaces. So I want us to win together. When you win and I win, the world becomes a more beautiful place, a more fun place to be. And then it reduces all the acrimonies and every kind of things that we have here, right? And so just know that this is our winning season. We are coming into a new beginning at a higher level. And that's true for you, that's true for me. And please, all you have learned, all that has been validated for you tonight, can you just put it into practice? If you keep learning and you don't practice, then you wouldn't see growth. So what you have validated today, the new aha moments you have today, I want you to be committed into putting them in practice. And that is when growth starts to happen. And you know me, I love you, I appreciate you, and I celebrate you always. Find out time to really smell the roses this weekend. Find out time to do things that make you happy, that really make you happy. You need to be happy for you to get all these things done. If you're sad, you're depressed, you're overwhelmed, your creativity would really, be reduced. Creativity happens in a place of peace, in a place of happiness. And always remember that you have a choice. You always have a choice. The choice to stay back, the choice to push back, the choice to take consistent actions. You always have a choice. And the choice that you take define your life. So while you're at it, please be very intentional in making those life defining choices. And from me and my team, thank you so much for always turning in. I love and appreciate you all. And hey, I look forward to seeing the month of July. We have another exciting thing for the month of July. So every Friday, 7 p.m., join us right here for another exciting, engaging, and inspiring conversation on the Friday night hangout. And as always, I remain your host, Joy Onyeso, and I look forward to seeing you next week Friday. Until then, stay blessed, stay loved, and stay focused. Bye for now. Love you so much. See you.